What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you want to be super awesome, please consider clicking that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel, and I can't express how much it actually does. Now, I just want to take the time to say thank you for spending a bit of time with me today whilst we read through these stories. I know time is super important. I know it myself with I don't have much time throughout my day, so I know how important it is to people. So for you guys to come here, chill out with me and listen to a story or two means the absolute world to me. I cannot express how much you've changed my life over this past year or so. It's been absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for your support and for you being here. And with that being said, with me waffling on, let's crack on with today's stories. Thank you very much, guys, and much love, of course. Now, our first story comes from Commercial Law 864. Am I the arsehole for refusing to take down negative school reviews? My son and daughter were relentlessly bullied at their high school, and we moved for that and employment reasons. I wrote some really negative reviews about the school on Google and just about every website you can write reviews about schools on. I wrote the names of the incompetent teachers, faculty, and why they are shit and why nobody should send their kids there. While the school vice principal contacted me, asking me nicely to take down the reviews. I heard from my friend who has their kid there still, and that the reviews have actually persuaded some people to send their kids to the Catholic school down the street instead. I told the vice principal to go to hell and fuck off. He then sent me another letter basically threatening me with legal action, saying it was defamation and such. I responded back with, fuck off and leave me alone. Why don't you stop the bullying issue at your school instead of trying to bully me? Fucking dumbasses. If you solved these bullying issues, you wouldn't have such bad reviews. Other parents seemed inspired to write negative reviews as well. Well, at the PTO meeting I was mentioned, and they said I was a devil, ruining their kids' education and such, as an increase in students could result in less funding. I doubt my impact was that drastic, but the PTO seemed to think it will be. The vice principal and other school admin have tried contacting my husband and doing the same thing, saying he may be more reasonable than me. My husband ignored them. Now, as you know, someone like myself who's been through bullying in the past, there's no way I condone bullying behavior whatsoever, and I hate my high school for what happened to me in that time, even though when it did finally get reported, nothing was done about it, and I was told to try to avoid those people, which it never happened in the end, and it ruined my high school, it ruined my last year, it ruined my GCSEs. And not that I was graded badly or anything, but my time there, you know, I was all focused on trying to get out of there. How am I going to get out of there after that test? How can I get home and safe, you know, without getting basically caught by my bullies again? But I'll leave the whole bullying story for another time with a personal waffle coming soon, by the way. But what I will say, some of the language in this post is questionable, and I'm going to be honest, it did leave me thinking about posts I've seen on my Facebook. Basically, on our Facebook, I'm not sure if you have the same thing in the US, there's groups set up called Location and then Spotted, and these are for people to post anonymously stuff that's going on in your area. And a lot of the time we get like people, you know, slagging off our local schools and saying, oh, the teachers here are bullies, this particular person is a bully, what they're doing, and it can be really damaging. And I'll be straight up, a lot of time it's been proven false, especially in our local area. But you get these little gaggles of people getting together and posting these anonymous messages and attacking, and this post almost felt a bit like that. And don't get me wrong, because I hate bullying and I'm totally against it. But at the same time, you know, if this is all true and your child is being bullied and you've called it on Facebook, then fair play to you, you know, you're leaving an honest review. It's not slander or anything like that if it's totally honest. And I think you're right to do that because you're warning people of how the school is being run. And if it's being run badly and there are bullies in there, it needs to be called out, I think. But there is some comments below which we will cover. There's some from teachers, there's some from other parents too. So we'll start off with Jang Mi because he asked for some info, and he says, info, what steps did the school take when you informed them of the bullying? What steps did you take at home? And OP does reply saying the schools would say they're just kids being kids, or that our kids were provoking them, which is not true at all, as they always approached our kids, and I've seen it online when they constantly harass my kids on social media. The most the school did was have an assembly and call us parents in to discuss it. That's it. The bullying never stopped. On a daily basis, they made fun of my kids for being Southerners and speaking with a Southern accent, calling them, and mentions a couple of names which I'll leave up but I won't say just in case they are slurs, and other slur names. The school would say the kids are just having fun. The bullying sometimes was physical, so my husband taught them self-defense. My son beat the shit out of one of the bullies who wouldn't stop following him and harassing him. School suspended both of them. The school never took any of the bullying seriously, and I highly suspect it was because some of the bullies are large donors to the school, and one of them works for a company that supplies the school lunches. They don't want that to upset them. But King Poop 1045 says not the arsehole. School has a problem. You points out the problem. School, instead of fixing the problem, they want to sue you. And G8R says, not the arsehole, I'd be speaking with a lawyer and getting a cease and desist letter sent to the school. Sounds like you also need to update the reviews about being bullied and threatened with legal action by the school. Sounds like bullying is rife throughout the school from students through to the vice principal and now the PTO. You wrote the truth and the parents had a right to know whether bullying is occurring and being brushed aside at the school. And One Catch says, not the arsehole for the reviews, you're the arsehole for your ridiculously aggressive replies. Responding in such a fashion basically guarantees that they won't address the root cause, and it actually gives them ammunition to characterize you as a lunatic, disaffected parent rather than someone with legitimate grievance. If this were to go to court, those messages would go against you, and although you'd have a solid case, it would just make things more difficult for your defense. And Maximus777 says, not the arsehole if your reviews are honest and not exaggerated. You're the arsehole for your replies. There is no need to speak in this offensive manner. If this is normal for you, then it gives serious doubt that this is the full story here. And Ninja Turtle Dude says, judging by how you talk to people, you might be the bully yourself. You sure your kids weren't the ones being the bullies? And I Will Eat Your Shin says, not the arsehole, your review was valid, and if they didn't want to lose funding, then they should fix the bullying issue. And Tall Combination 6 says, everyone sucks here. The school sucks for letting your kid get bullied, however, you don't need to be abusive about it. The way you spoke to them is way out of line and downright trashy, and I get the feeling from your overall demeanour here that your kid is one of those kids who is shitty to people and then cries bullying when held accountable. I'm a teacher, and whenever I have a student who plays the victim, they have a parent like you. And finally, San Mannequin says, OP, you're the arsehole 100%. Your child beat the shit out of the other kids, yet isn't at all the problem. You included names of teachers and staff encouraging people to harass them. Of course they asked you to take them down. They are absolutely correct that your reviews can negatively affect the school's funding, making them less equipped to handle the bullying problem. I've worked at difficult schools that are underfunded. They are probably understaffed and can't find enough para-educators willing to work at their school due to how difficult the kids are. You sound like a helicopter parent that always thinks their child is the victim. It's very clear the bullying is a two-way street and you don't want to hear it. It is possible for staff to be doing their best and to still have a bullying issue. You can leave reviews about the bullying issue that are actually fair and accurate, but don't bring staff names into it. Now, this is one where I could see going a variety of ways. I mean, if they came into this post and they read it without the whole fuck you dumbasses and all this kind of stuff, I think it would just go a not the arsehole 100%. But the way the language has been written and some of the replies is a bit sketchy, you know. So I turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of the situation and how would you deal with it? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for agreeing with my partner's decision to make my daughter leave when she's 18? I, 36 female, have a 17-year-old daughter. 3 years ago, my daughter and I moved in with my boyfriend of 9 years. The house is technically in both of our names, but I have not worked for the last 9 years, so he's the reason we still live there. He has not gotten along with my daughter since we moved in, and he at one point earlier on said he was very wary about being married and becoming a stepfather since he is already a father of 3 kids, 2 of whom, 15 female, 13 female, still live in the house. He and my daughter fight a lot, and his 15-year-old in particular takes her dad's side in all their fights. During their latest argument, my boyfriend said he finally has had enough. He called me in and told me that he hates drama. He said that his kids' welfare comes first, so if my daughter's attitude was contributing to their, especially his 15-year-old's apparent unhappiness, something has to give. He said he's always had a no arseholes policy in his business, but that extends to his family. He said when my daughter turns 18, we could give her leeway to find a new place, but ultimately this is his house, not hers. He said that he's saying right here, right now, that he does not want her in this house after she's an adult. But he said my name is on the house too, so he asked if I agreed or not. I honestly didn't know what else I could say, because it was his house first, and in many ways it was his house more than it was mine. So I told my daughter that I'd help her find a job if need be, and a place, but I couldn't really do anything about it if my partner made up his mind. He interjected and said he definitely had, and having an extra adult mouth to feed wasn't cheap. My daughter said that I was a sellout and then I should get a job to help her with getting an apartment, even though I spend all my time trying to run the house smoothly. Am I the arsehole? It seems sudden, but I think we can reasonably say that it was a long time coming. Ugh, this is just like a heartbreaking one for me, to think of a 17-year-old daughter, and when she turns 18, that's it, she's on her own, in possibly the worst thing that's going on in the world right now. You're very blasé about just throwing your daughter out to go and find a job in her own place, and that's it, and you're just sort of like, oh well, it is what it is. And clearly we don't know all the ins and outs of what's been going on behind the scenes of this, but I can say from myself, if I was in that person's position, there was no way I would abandon my child like that. And as I said, we don't know all the ins and outs of what's going on. I don't know if she's hitting people and all this kind of stuff, but from what I'm reading here, there's no way I could happily say I'd chuck someone out, my daughter out like that. And what the hell's up with the relationship, man? 9 years and he's already still saying, I'm still very wary of marrying you though. I've already got kids. Come on, man. Seriously. Let's have a look at some of these comments before I'm getting a bit heated. So let's have a look at them. With Yuki saying, you're the arsehole. You've been with him for 9 years, no ring, and he has clearly said he's wary of giving you one. Yet you choose him, someone who won't commit, over your daughter. Your name is on the house, it's legally your home too. You gave no resistance, just went, that's fine honey, let's kick my own kid out. His kid's welfare takes priority over your own kid's welfare. Blended families take work, and it doesn't seem like any of you have been to therapy together if the fights are this bad as you're making them out to be. And the disciple Matt says, you're the arsehole, the girl is 18 and it's 2021. The worst pandemic we've seen in 100 years and the tightest margin young adults have witnessed in terms of cost of living and wages. You would be setting your daughter up for a very unpleasant life if you dish her at 18. If she's bringing drugs or other junk in the house, then I can see it, but an attitude, you two need professional help. Big time. And Tessica Moda says, you're the arsehole. I can already see the post if Reddit is still there. X years ago, my egg donor's boyfriend threw me out on the day I turned 18. He died a few weeks/months ago. They weren't married. There was no will and all his money went to his own children. Now Eggy wants to reconcile. Let it be clear, she never worked. She just sponged off him. But I laughed in her face and said, too little too late. Would I be the arsehole if I get her served with not only a cease and desist letter, but also actively pursue a restraining order due to her harassing me for money because family stands together / helps each other? You know, that post is coming one day. And Botanical Brunch Skunk says, a woman who chooses a man over their child is the worst kind of arsehole. You're the arsehole. Now, I turn this one to you guys. What do you think of the situation and how would you deal with it? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for refusing to accommodate my niece's vegan diet? My sister and her husband both lost their jobs, and as we had space we allowed them to move in with us. They have 2 daughters who are both vegan. Now my wife and I have 4 children. Our 2 older girls are very sweet and our boys both have autism. We essentially work our daily lives around them to make them more comfortable. As such, our meal plans are relatively simple. Some of the only foods they will both eat is chicken and cheese, so every meal we eat has at least one of those components. Of course, neither of these items are vegan. Our nieces both complain, and as we need mealtime to be relatively stress-free for the boys, it's caused some problems. On top of this, we also have 4 dogs. 1 family dog, 1 dog who is trained autism service dog, and our oldest daughter adopted 2 dogs at the beginning of April last year. Our oldest is doing an animal welfare course at college and plans on becoming a vet/dietitian. She explained the benefits of raw food and as such prepares all 4 dog meals in the morning and refrigerates their evening meals. We don't force her, she chooses to do the other 2 dogs because she wants to get it perfect for them. Anyway, our 2 nieces are complaining about never being able to eat because there's always meat around. They refuse to eat at meal times because we serve meat and dairy. I explained that we aren't going to upturn meal plans we've had in place for years just for them. They could either deal with it or make their own food. They're both on hunger strikes, but I don't think I'm in the wrong. I offered to serve the sides, which are generally vegan. I make larger portions for them, but cooking several different meals is not something I want to go back to. My sister is staying out of it, and her husband is just happy he's finally getting to eat meat again. My wife thinks I'm being harsh, but when I suggested she take over the cooking, she suddenly agreed with me. Am I the arsehole? Now I had a quick look at what the ages of these children are, because I think that's a very important part of this, right? I mean, if they're like toddlers and stuff, they can't make their own meals. But I found out they're 17 and 15, and I'm sat here thinking, so why aren't they making their own goddamn meals? Or why aren't the parents doing nothing? If they're unemployed and they got nothing else to do around the house, why aren't they cooking for them? The fact that they're just sitting there and just wanting to stay out of it and, you know, like, no, we're happy to eat meat. Sod the girls, right? Sod my kids. They can do whatever they like. I'm just like, what the hell? Absolutely not the arsehole in any way, shape or form. There's plenty of options there. Cook themselves, get their parents to cook for them, plan different meal times so you didn't have to be around the meat at all. There's a whole host of different options which they don't want to take because it sounds like they're being too lazy and they want you to do all the cooking for them. So 100% not the arsehole in this situation. But let's have a look at some of the comments to see what they say. Alien Dystrophy says, not the arsehole. There are plenty of options open to them. They can cook, their parents can cook, they can eat packet food that doesn't require cooking. It's not on you to do all that work for them. I also appreciate that when you've got kids with very specific needs, it's way too much to try and vary that to add in another diet. It's on your sister and her husband to find a solution that works for their daughters, but also for you. And LaCroix says, not the arsehole, and quotes, my sister is staying out of it. AKA, my sister is refusing to cook the food I buy for her kids who have dietary preferences, or is refusing to tell her kids to make their own dinners. Are you kidding me with this? Jesus, my kids have been making their own meals since 6, lol. If they don't like what I made for family dinner, they are more than welcome to make whatever they want with the items I have in the house. Your sister and her family are seriously ungrateful. And It Has an Idea says, not the arsehole, you're serving your kids and animals in your own home. If they have an issue eating animal products, their mother or father should cook vegan meals for them. As long as you aren't trying to shove meat or dairy down their throats, you're perfectly fine. You opened your home to them, but that doesn't mean you took on full responsibility for their kids when you have enough to deal with it on your plate. Good luck to you. Now, I turn this one to you guys. How would you deal with the situation? I can't believe the other parents are just sitting back and saying, like, oh, I'm staying out of this. This is on you. It's like, what the hell? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And our next story is from Yeetsuf. Am I the arsehole for telling my 46 male, daughter 18 female that her birthday gift is college? This is a lot to unravel, but my daughter is really mad at me right now. So my daughter told me that her birthday is coming up, January 24th, and that she wanted something like a Nintendo Switch or an iPhone 12 or something expensive like that. Bottom line is she wants an expensive piece of technology. I told her that frankly she isn't getting a birthday gift this year, as frankly she is getting much more expensive birthday gift, her college tuition. That is really expensive, and I told her she's already gotten her birthday gift, the chance of getting to go to college because I'm paying it for her. She told me that it is her right to go to college and that can't be a birthday gift. I told her it's not a right, it's a privilege. Most people don't get to go to college, or if they do, they take out loans and have to graduate with a lot of debt. I told her that she's getting to graduate debt free, so that's her birthday gift and she isn't getting anything else. Mind you, she is living with me and my wife, her mother, rent free, so I don't think I owe her a birthday gift because I'm already paying for something so expensive for her. My daughter is currently mad at me and won't talk to me, so am I the arsehole for telling my daughter her birthday gift is her college tuition? Now, I just hate this story overall. All the attitudes in this story suck. The entitlement for wanting a Nintendo Switch or an iPhone 12 or something expensive, an expensive piece of technology, you know, I hate that entitled attitude of demanding something like that anyway. But also you suck for the way you're treating your own daughter, saying, you know, you don't have to get her an expensive gift. You can get her something small. You can get her a bunch of flowers if you really want. Just show some thought into it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go all the way out and buy a fucking new iPhone for $1,000. You don't have to do that. But in my opinion, the way you come across in this post is a right arse. and it's mainly when I got to the rent part and you said, oh, mind you, she's been living with me and my wife, her mother, rent free. I don't think I owe her a gift because I'm paying for something so expensive for her. It's like, you brought her here, you made that choice to have a daughter, now she's living with you, so don't get all up on your high horse about it. So yeah, you're the arsehole just for the attitude in this post, and I'm going with that. Actually, fuck it. Chuck the daughter in there as well. Everyone sucks here for that entitled attitude, and I'm sticking with it. But my Reddit account says, slight, you're the arsehole here. Everything you said about college costs and privilege is right, but your response was confrontational. You got some responsibility here for our entitled attitude. It's a product of her raising my friend. A better response would be to get her some small token gift for her birthday because, you know, she's your daughter and you love her. Something like, daughter, we love you and you're going to get something for your birthday, of course, but we're paying for your college in full. That's a privilege that most people don't get and it's very expensive. So your gifts are going to be smaller and less expensive while we're paying for college. And absolutely, that's too true as well. That's probably the nicest way of putting it, right? I just heard a bell ringing. That cat from next door is in this house somewhere and I don't know where it is. I just heard the bell ring though. And SG2000 says, gonna go with you're the arsehole. If you want to pay for your kids' college, go for it. That's a thing to do that will help them a lot in life, but it really has nothing to do with birthday gifts. She might as well ask you for a ride somewhere or to pass the salt. Nope, I'm going to pay your tuition, so do it yourself. You don't have to spend $1,000 on an iPhone. Price isn't that important. Be thoughtful and get her something that she will enjoy. Giving gifts to people you love is a fun activity. It's weird to not see it that way. They aren't something you owe. And Hot Pink Tuesday says, you're the arsehole. You don't have to get her anything expensive, but you can get your own daughter something for her birthday. And Insanely Handsome QB says, it's great that you're being very generous by paying her college tuition when millions of kids are saddled with lifelong debt. I hope she understands how much of a big deal this is. You saved her from years and years of hardship, but 18 is a pretty big milestone. You didn't have to get her an iPhone or a Switch, but anything would have been better than what you did. You could have ordered takeout from her favourite restaurant, given a thoughtful card, teddy bear, necklace, or anything just to show you thought about this very important coming of age milestone. Instead, you presented her with a condescending, you should be grateful you have such an amazing dad message as a birthday gift. I'd totally be full of gratitude after that. /sarcasm. You're the arsehole. And Dairy Queen 22 says, you're the arsehole, your attitude sucks, and the whole, mind you, she is living with me and my wife, her mother, rent free, is literally the worst mindset a parent can have. You decided to have a child, they should not have to be grateful you let them live with their family, rent free. Keep up this attitude towards her and she'll resent you for the rest of her life. Now, I turn this one to you guys. What do you think of this situation and how would you deal with it? I just hate the whole entitlement as a whole in this post. It just feels way too entitled for me. Big entitled parents vibes going on. But what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy today's stories. It's always a pleasure having you here, seeing the same names in the comments. And I'm sorry I haven't been, responding to as many just lately. It's been a very, very busy January. We're getting there. We're slowly getting there. So I will be back on it soon. Thank you once again, guys. And I will see you in the next one. Much love. Have a great day now, or evening, of course. Goodbye.